Coming up on 5 Minute News. Supreme Court won't halt turnover of Trump's tax records. Biden mourns 500,000 dead, balancing nation's grief and hope. And one vaccine dose gives high protection from severe COVID. It's Tuesday, February 23. I'm Anthony Davis. In a significant defeat for former President Donald Trump, the Supreme Court on Monday declined to step in to halt the turnover of his tax records to a New York state prosecutor. The court's action is the apparent culmination of a lengthy legal battle that had already reached the High Court once before. Trump's tax records are not supposed to become public as part of prosecutors' criminal investigation, but the High Court's action is a blow to Trump because he's fought on so many fronts to keep his tax records shielded from view. The ongoing investigation that the records are part of could also become an issue for Trump in his life after the presidency. The Supreme Court waited months to act in the case. The last of the written briefs of the case was filed on October 19. But a court that includes 3 Trump appointees waited through the election, Trump's challenge to his defeat, and a month after Trump left office before issuing its order. The court offered no explanation for the delay, and the legal issue before the justices did not involve whether Trump was due any special deference because he was president. The court order is a win for Manhattan District Attorney Cyrus Vance Jr., who's been seeking Trump's tax records since 2019 as part of an investigation. Vance had subpoenaed the records from the Mazars accounting firm that has long done work for Trump and his businesses. Donald Trump reported making more than $1.6 billion in outside revenue and income during his 4 years as President of the United States, according to a review of his financial disclosures by Crew. While Trump publicly took credit for donating his taxpayer-funded salary, that ended up being less than 0.1% of the revenue and income he disclosed during his presidency. With sunset remarks and a national moment of silence, President Joe Biden on Monday confronted head-on the country's once unimaginable loss, 500,000 Americans in the COVID-19 pandemic, as he tried to strike a balance between mourning and hope. Addressing the grim, heartbreaking milestone directly and publicly, Biden stepped to a lectern in the White House Cross Call, unhooked his face mask, and delivered an emotion-filled eulogy for more than 500,000 Americans he said he felt he knew. We often hear people described as ordinary Americans. There's no such thing, he said on Monday evening. There's nothing ordinary about them. The people we lost were extraordinary. Just like that, he added, so many of them took their last breath alone. A president whose own life has been marked by family tragedy, Biden spoke in deeply personal terms, referencing his own losses as he tried to comfort the huge number of Americans whose lives have been forever changed by the pandemic. The president, who lost his first wife and baby daughter in a car collision and later an adult son to brain cancer, leavened the grief with a message of hope. He said we have to resist becoming numb to the sorrow. We have to resist viewing each life as a statistic or a blur on the news. We must do so to honor the dead, but, equally important, to care for the living. The president ordered flags on federal property lowered to half-staff for 5 days, and then led the moment of communal mourning for those lost to a virus that often prevents people from gathering to remember their loved ones. Monday's bleak threshold of 500,000 deaths was playing out against contradictory cross-currents, an encouraging drop in coronavirus cases, and worries about the spread of more contagious variants. Real-world evidence from the COVID vaccination programs in England and Scotland show that one dose of vaccine gives high protection against severe disease and admission to hospital, and protects against even mild disease with no symptoms in younger people. The first real data from the mass vaccination programs is promising, and although the results do not include evidence that they prevent transmission completely, there is data to show that they are stopping some people becoming infected, which should slow the spread of coronavirus. In England, the Siren study in healthcare workers under 65 found that one dose of the Pfizer-BioNTech vaccine reduced the risk of catching the virus by 70% and 85% after the second dose. The data also shows that people who've been vaccinated who catch the infection are much better protected against severe disease, hospitalization, and death. You can subscribe to 5 Minute News on YouTube with your preferred podcast app. Ask your smart speaker or enable 5 Minute News as your Amazon Alexa flash briefing skill. Subscribe, rate and review online at 5minute.news. 5 Minute News is an Evergreen Podcast covering politics, inequality, health and climate, delivering independent, unbiased and essential world news daily.